Coming up in news are sporadic gunshots reported at Tamale Electoral Commission office.
Stakeholders in West Africa gas pipeline project trade ideas on how to address challenges. Hello, good evening. Welcome to News Hour on GBC24. My name is Gifty Eji.
I am Shirley Anan.
Now the stories. The Minister for the Interior, Mr. Prosper Bani, on Thursday gave an assurance that the December elections will be as peaceful as any of the country's previous elections.
The assurance by Mr. Prosper Bani came at a meeting of the National Election Security Task Force in Accra. The meeting assessed the preparedness of the Security Task Force ahead of the general elections.
Security issues have become very pressing, especially in this election year, given that national elections have led to conflicts in many parts of Africa and turned back the clock of progress. The National Election Security Task Force, made up of personnel drawn from the police service, the Ghana Armed Forces, prisons, immigration, the fire service and customs, excise and preventive service, was formed in January this year to coordinate security in the country. In a presentation, the Director General of Police Operations, COP Christian Yohonu, mentioned that a task force has done risk and threat analysis nationwide. So far, 5,003 hotspots compared to 3,574 in 2012 have been identified, an increase of over 1,000.
We intend to democratize security, that every citizen, every group of persons have the ability to first of all protect themselves, contribute to the protection of their neighbors, as well as engaging in a community involvement that seeks to protect communities at all times.
The Minister for the Interior, Mr. Prosper Bani, appealed to all political parties to engage the security services at all times.
As critical agencies, I believe our actions before, during, and after the election should be devoid of any political inclination. We must be seen as being fair and firm in the dispensation of our duties before, during, and after the election. Professionalism should be our watchword.
The National Election Security Task Force says although the number of hotspots has increased, they are poised for action and will protect the country's prevailing peace.
Technical challenges including erratic power supply have slowed down ongoing voter transfer and ID card replacement exercise being undertaken by the Electoral Commission in the Kratchi West and Kratchi Nchumuru district. The GBC24 correspondent in the area, Michael Tulevu, has this report on the situation, which has made it difficult for voters to go through the process smoothly. Meanwhile, the deadline for the exercise still remains tomorrow, Friday, 7th October.
This is how a typical day at the Kratchi office of the Electoral Commission looks like since September 7, when the EC started the voter transfer and ID card replacement exercise. Most of the people here have traveled from the hinterlands of Kratchi West as well as the Kratchi Nchumuru districts to either transfer their votes or have their missing ID cards replaced. The Kratchi office of the Electoral Commission has to deal with an extra district, the Kratchi Nchumuru district, in addition to the Kratchi West district. Mr. Collins Tete is an electoral officer at the Kratchi West.
As your cameras have captured themselves, you can see the crowd and the numbers here who have turned up for the transfer. Most of them, from the transfer we've done so far, we could see that most of them were outside the jurisdiction doing the previous registration. That is, most of them were in school, others were also elsewhere, but then they have married, so they have come to stay or to be with their husbands, and for that reason they have come too far for transfer.
As the days go by, and the deadline of the voter transfer exercise gets closer, the long queues have degenerated into violent confrontations at the Karachi West office of the Electoral Commission. Superintendent Kwame Nkrumah Kumia, the Karachi Divisional Commander of Police, is not happy about this.
Yesterday, for instance, there were a few misunderstandings, particularly in the morning. So we had to get extra men here so that we calm down tensions and all that. Today it's continuing, like you are saying. Yes, there are a lot of people here, but as for the issues that came up yesterday, we don't see much of them today.
Looking at the numbers who are trooping to the Karachi West office of the EC, one wonders what will happen to those who are yet to have their turn to either transfer their votes or have their missing ID cards replaced before the EC deadline of October 7, 2016.
Now, the voter transfer exercise is scheduled to end on Friday. Meanwhile, there have been some worrying developments in connection with the exercise in Tamale, where reports say gunshots have been fired and clashes erupted between supporters of some political parties. On the line to Tamale is GBC24's correspondent Mutala Muhammad. Mutala, welcome to GBC24. Now, good evening. What do you know and what can you tell us about the gunshots fired today?
Thank you very much, Sadikem. Indeed, there were gunshots at the Tamale Metro office of the Electoral Commission, and we still do not know who actually fired the shot. Now, what happened? At the time, there were students of the UDS and some members of the general public who had gathered at the EC's Tamale Metro office, which is home to the Tamale Central, Tamale South, and then Tamale North constituency. And they were there trying to transfer their votes. And suddenly, some people came there and then opened fire behind the EC's office. Now, we were not there when this happened, but when we asked the students, and they told us that they were also warned not to make the attempt of coming to any polling station to vote on election day. Otherwise, they said they used the word, "we will kill you." That was what some of the students told us. Now, Telecom, this seems to be a coordinated trend. Yesterday, there was a similar incident. There were clashes between NDC and NDP supporters in Cherponi, and it's related to voter transfer. Now, I had a similar complaint from Takali that there was a near clash. In fact, my source is telling me that if the police do not put their eyes on the ground to monitor them, there could be a clash in Takali as well. So there seems to be a coordinated attempt across the region to intimidate people who are transferring their votes from wherever they are to the northern part of the northern region.
Mutala, you told us some students were told to stay away from voting. Who told them to stay away?
Now, those who fired the gunshots, they warned them. They said some young men stayed there after the shots and warned them to stay away from voting. They should not make the attempt of transferring their votes to the northern region or even Tamale. If they do that, they will deal with them on election day.
Now, Tamale is said to be one of the restive regions in the country. What can you tell us about the security situation in the lead up to election 2016?
Well, the military came in to quell the situation. I understand how the police have taken over security at the metro office of the Electoral Commission, the regional office as well, very close to the police station, so it's also secure. However, there has been a series of sensitization programs by the NCCE, the global platform, various CSOs. Last week there was a peace walk by some peace ambassadors within Tamale, and they all been working to ensure that there's peace can be there. And the northern region has hundreds of hotspots across the length and breadth, especially during election time, and people are concerned. So sensitization programs are going on. Alhaji Abdulrazak Tani of the NCC almost every day, and his staff, they are on one radio station or the other trying to sensitize people to accept peace, to embrace tolerance. But there seems to be some suspicion between particularly the NDC and NPP supporters. In Kasali, in Cherponi, they are also accusing the EC of bias towards a particular political party. So it's quite a dicey situation as we speak now.
All right, thank you very much. We'll leave it here. We've been speaking to our Northern Regional Correspondent, Mutala Mohammed. And now we take a break here. We'll be back with more news.
You're still watching News Hour on GBC24. On the political front, the Convention People's Party CPP has outdoored the running mates to the party's presidential candidate. Nana Gabi Nsia Nketia says accepting to be the vice presidential candidate is a demonstration that party politics in Ghana is all about serving one's country and helping strengthen the democracy. Nana Gabi Nketia pledged to support the presidential candidate and build the CPP for victory in the upcoming elections. The Convention People's Party CPP led Ghana to achieve independence in 1957 with the late Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as its founder and leader.
The political history of Ghana cannot be told without the mention of the Convention People's Party, CPP. The CPP was the first political party to govern this country under Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who led Ghana to independence. Although the CPP government was overthrown many years ago, the party has been a major player in the country's politics. The CPP is one of the 17 political parties running the 2016 parliamentary and presidential elections, with Mr. Ivor Greenstreet as its presidential candidate. Mr. Greenstreet says, as a young man seeking the high office of president, he needs an experienced and knowledgeable person to help him steer the affairs of the nation if given the mandate, hence his choice of Nana Gabi Nsia Nketia.
His lengthy period of service is one of the key qualities that attracted me to him. He has always had something which all of us desire to have as individuals, as families, communities, and a nation. And it is something that Ghana needs. And it is something I know he will help to restore to Ghana. And that single quality is dignity.
The CPP vice presidential candidate, Nana Gabi Nsia Nketia, who is also the Osampahin of Duankwanta, says he accepted to be the running mate for the CPP because he admires the vision, love, and the CPP's plans for Mother Ghana.
Indeed, the love of my country is my motivation, and I'm driven by that simple idea that politically we create better future for ourselves and our children, but can only do so if we work together with a new purpose, new direction, and a new leadership. There is a deeper sense to which I desire to show the way of national unity, peace, and progress.
The national chairperson of the party, Dr. Edmond Dele, welcomed the running mate and called on all party members to rally behind him and the presidential candidate for victory in the December polls. He emphasized that the chosen vice presidential candidate, Nana Gabi Nsia Nketia, is no longer a card-bearing member of the NPP. He said the CPP does not indulge in tribal politics, but rather in politics of ideas. Theodore Amedeto, GBC24, Accra.
Former First Lady and presidential candidate of the National Democratic Party, Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings, has chosen 47-year-old entrepreneur Michael Kojo Mensah Sosu as a running mate ahead of the December 7 elections. Mr. Mensah, who hails from the Volta region, is expected to spearhead the party's move to break the ruling NDC's dominance in the region. The National Democratic Party was formed in October 2012 as the party gears up for the December 7 poll. Its presidential candidate, Nana Akufo-Addo has outdoored her vice presidential candidate, Mr. Michael Kojo Mensah Sosu, said to have an enormous wealth of experience to rescue Ghana from its current state.
Today I stand here and introduce Mr. Kojo Mensah Sosu.
The 47-year-old Mr. Michael Kojo Mensah Sosu is a chief executive of a heavy-duty truck equipment company for Terra Limited. He also heads several other businesses which employ close to 1,000 people. Mr. Sosu says his experience makes him better pleased, together with the former First Lady, to better run the economy.
I have taken a bold step, and indeed, it is a bold step. And I pray that it inspires others, join in the battle of ideas to build a great nation, Ghana. We should not let our fears or our anxiety hold us back in contributing our bit to the great nation of ours. Together, we shall root out marginalization of the underclass, women, children, the youth, citizens who contribute to the economy.
And now to the camp of the NPP, where the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party says the NPP is united and poised to win the 2016 elections. Nana Addo, who is out stamping for vote ahead of the December polls, asked party loyalists to unite and vote a party that believes that Ghana must rise again. On Wednesday, Nana Addo addressed rallies at Ayawaso Central and Klote-Kole constituencies in Accra on the second leg of his Greater Accra tour.
The second day of the Greater Accra tour took the NPP campaign team to Alaju, which is considered one of the strongholds of the party. The campaign team included various party bigwigs such as former presidential hopeful Alan Chemanting, former Greater Accra Regional Minister Sheikh I.C. Kwe, who is also a former Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso Central constituency, as well as former Information Minister Mr. Stephen Asamoah Boateng. Nana Addo asked the electorates to vote for the NPP, an aspiring Member of Parliament, Mr. Henry Korte, also known as Gentle Giant.
NHIS, free senior high school also. One district, one factory policy. Now me pesa mo ti ase. Tell me some amake. Onyakopo ma me kwan a. Me ba be dino so aye no pepepe. Bako.
At Kotobabi, Mr. Alan Chemanting enumerated the achievements of the NPP under President Kufuor and asked supporters to throw their weight behind Nana Akufo-Addo.
88 years, 2 interchanges, yes sir. Yo to na go de. Yamra NPP so. Mekan Mwakai number 1. Katakwashi, Medina Junction, Alajo, Ofankwa, Malam.
The team then moved to Accra New Town, where they addressed workers of some printing press, traders and the Muslim community. The party pledged to ensure a reduction in import duties if elected and the restoration of allowances for Muslim scholars. At Tiptoe Lane at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Nana Akufo-Addo appealed to the electorate to give him the mandate in his third attempt at the presidential seat.
The Baba said there were more Ghana Bedano. My pray back 1 year. My premier news also an year. Me and someone I may pray say. I'm a person of one day. Now between 4 Bedano.
Late in the afternoon, the NPP addressed a mini rally at the Arts Centre, which is within the Clote-Korle constituency. The artisans called for an improvement in the number of things, including security and the tourism sector. Nanado trumped up support for the parliamentary candidate, lawyer Philip Addison. The campaign team made a final stop at Osu, where the presidential candidate said an MPP government led by him would revive the NHIS and school feeding program. He pleaded with the electorate to vote out the NDC come December 7. For GBC24, Shelley Annan reporting. Focused investment in the fisheries sector needs priority attention because most people in the sector only eke out a living. The ruling NDC has therefore targeted the fisheries sector as a rod by which the impact of investment may be measured. While visiting Yeji and adjoining areas to campaign, President John Mahama indicated that both coastal and inland fishing areas will be provided with fishing harbors. Napoleon Atukito reports.
President Mahama is intensely campaigning in the Bunafo region. The governing party won by slight margins in the Swing region in the last two general elections. Though marginal, the results made an important difference. The NDC wants to repeat the dose by retaining and even adding to previous tallies, hence the allocation of more time to the campaign in the Middle Belt. Yeji, noted for fishing and trading, was the campaign team's first port of call. The Pro East constituency where Yeji is located is already in the hands of the NDC in Parliament, and so it was understandable to see a huge crowd waiting for the president's arrival. Well, it finally did arrive, and his presence threw the township into frenzy. The president said it will be in the interest of Ghanaians if the NDC is re-elected to lead Ghana along a steady path in which no part of the country will be forgotten or left in abeyance. He said government is responding to the specific needs of all places, hence the support for fishing communities in terms of cold stocks, landing beaches, outboard motors, premix fuel, and microcredit assistance.
Cabinet last month, they are passing a law, Parliament, Cashew Development Board. Obika se oba obeye ye passing cabinet passing Zamrano, Cashew Development Board. I can say senior cocoa, Afibia, ye kase cocoa, ye better to say no. Cashew so Afibia, ye better price and what's here to cashew no.
Prime was the next town the president visited, the Mecca town of Tijaniya Muslim faithfuls. The president reiterated the work his administration has done for the whole country, sometimes tailoring his message to address local concerns. Among the beneficiaries were the people of Prime, most of whom cultivate yam and cassava.
I was saying, Emma and Hansu Tumbo, Kaka, in Jinabian can say, and Puntoni na ye. They say, I propose Rome was not built in a day. Won't you mean fat dark pro and chichil grow?
The NDC campaign team continued to traverse the expanse of the Bunafo region, reaching a town like Kwame Danso to meet an expectant crowd. Fully aware of the nature of the road to the town, President Mahama reminded his audience that he was determined to upgrade roads in Ghana to become some of the best in the sub-region. And so, he assured the people of Kwame Danso that the road leading to the place will be reconstructed as it is being done elsewhere in the country. The president, who had by then partitioned his campaign team in two, with one stationed in the town next to be visited, finally got to Amantin well into the night, with people having waited hours on end to see him. The president led the crowd on as he recited his new slogan, JM Tuaso, meaning JM Continue.
NDC.
Here, the president did not speak at length, presumably on the grounds that the long wait by the people was evident of their loyalty to the party. He urged them to focus on the NDC in the midst of all the cacophony which has engulfed the nation as various parties canvass for votes ahead of the December polls. Napoleon Atukito, Bunoafo Region.
Away from that story, President John Mahama is currently campaigning in the Bunoafo region. He has been to Techiman and Kintampo, explaining why he needs to be given a second term. The NDC campaign train has journeyed deep into the Middle Belt with a pledge to oversee the steady and equitable development of the country. Another report by Napoleon Atukito.
Day 2 of President Mahama's campaign tour of the Bunoafo region took him to Sunyani West and East, as well as Tano South and North districts. At various stops, the team was received by teeming party sympathizers amidst chanting of party songs and slogans, laced with Usain Bolt gestures adopted by the party alongside the infectious whistle that goes with it. At Odumasi No. 1 and 2, President Mahama assured the chiefs and the people of his administration's preparedness to roll out more development projects in various districts to ensure even distribution of national cake. The acting president of the Dumasi No. 1 traditional area, Nanakwisi Yeboah, hailed the Mahama administration for what he called commitment to improving the livelihoods of people in hard-to-reach areas. At Bechem Omahine's palace, appeals were made to the president to help in the completion of the construction of a stadium for the area. According to Nana Fosuji Abo, work has already begun. Another area of concern was the road network. The team then headed for the town square to address a rally. Prior to his address, the General Secretary of the party, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, asked the people to vote massively for both the president and the parliamentary candidate for the constituency, Dr. Hannah Bisiu. When it got to his turn, President Mahama told the gathering to have faith in his administration and give him 100% vote to continue with its well-strategized development plans. Further, he expressed optimism that the NDC will emerge victorious in the coming polls. Touching on road networking in the area, President Mahama assured the people of changing the contractor handling the Techima Ntia Dema Akomadan road, if necessary, to ensure early completion of the road. To him, construction of good road network is of utmost importance since it facilitates movement of goods and services. He added that the 4 years of his rule was dedicated to foundation laying for more development to take place. He hinted that in the next 4 years, if he is retained in office, areas such as skills development and job creation would receive the needed attention. From Bechem, the team made a stop at Duaya Nkwanta. As he did in every area he visited, President Mahama spent some time with the chiefs and people of the area. The chief of Duaya Nkwanta, Nana Boache Tromo, commended the Mahama Emisatha administration for its development-centered interventions, such as a midwifery school established in the area. He called for speeding up of the process involved in getting the school accredited for it to start full operation. In response to the request, President Mahama promised to see to it that the school gets accreditation very soon. At the rally grounds, President Mahama seized the opportunity to announce to the people that plans are far advanced for an ultra-modern fire service training center to be established in the area. He introduced a prakulate to the people as the NDC parliamentary candidate for Tano North, wrapping up day 2 of his campaign tour at Abesim in the Sunyani East municipality. President Mahama made a whistle stop at the Chief's Palace, after which he shared some campaign messages at a rally.
The All People's Congress has launched its manifesto ahead of the December vote. The party's presidential candidate Hassan Ayariga told newsmen on Thursday that the APC is poised to deliver on an all-inclusive government and a solid and resilient economy. A report by Winifred Efun.
The atmosphere at the Aviation Social Center in Accra was charged as party loyalists sang and danced. Then came the time for the launch of the manifesto.
Do you launch the 2016 and the first manifesto ever of the APC?
An independent presidential candidate, Mr. Jacob Osei-Yeboah, said he believes in the all-inclusive government mantra of the APC, hence his decision to associate with the party.
The vision is with us, and we're going to run with that vision so that the next generation of our country will have a peaceful place.
Mr. Hassan Ayariga said his government will fight corruption through the strengthening of institutional and legislative reforms and attitudinal change. Mr. Ayariga also said he will provide maternity, unemployment and child allowances when elected into office.
The APC will ensure that growth is socially responsible and comes from genuine value addition and not from stripping our natural resources or from underpaying our labor. The goal of the APC is to build a country with the following characteristics. 1. A prosperous population with a high quality of life. 2. A stable and peaceful and family united nation. 3. A solid and efficient good governance machinery and strong institution. 4. A well-educated population that strives for excellence. And then 5. A competitive economy that is capable of producing sustainable growth, jobs and shared benefit for all.
The 92-page document also contains policies on agriculture, health and infrastructure. For GBC24, Winifred Efun reporting.
Good evening, it's time to talk business. My name is Esther Edu Ohumeu. The atmosphere at the meeting in Accra between Ghana's Petroleum Minister and officials of the West Africa Gas Pipeline Project was one of fault-finding and finger-pointing. The meeting was to enable stakeholders from Nigeria, Benin, Togo and Ghana address operational and financial challenges facing the West Africa Gas Pipeline Project.
The West African Gas Pipeline, WACP, transports purified natural gas free of heavy hydrocarbons, liquids and water, ideally suited for power plants and industrial applications. 85% of the gas is for power generation and the remaining for industrial applications. The pipeline transports natural gas from Nigeria to Benin, Togo and Ghana. The all-important project is confronted with challenges necessitating the meeting of Committee of Ministers of the Gas Project in Accra. Thursday's meeting follows a previous one on July 12, which was held in Abuja. The Abuja meeting ended with a communique assigning responsibilities to various parties to explore ways to make the West African Pipeline Company WAPCO cash liquid and also consider actions to ensure continuous flow of gas. Petroleum ministers and officials from Togo, Benin, Nigeria and Ghana met for further discussions on how to address challenges facing the West African Gas Pipeline project.
Often amazed how in a region where our forefathers fought for independence, giving their lives and labored so hard to make sure that we survive as independent nations, we seem to always be overwhelmed by very little problems. The problem that WAPCO and WAPCA face today are very little problems. I encourage all of us who are participating in this one way or the other, like I did in Abuja, to rise up and find solutions. We will not leave here today unless we find solutions to the problems so we can move forward.
The managing director of WAPCO, Mr. Walt Perez, touched on the ongoing payment defaults by VRA.
I'm pleased to report that since our last meeting, 30 million cubic feet a day of gas is now available for VRA, and that we are also aware that plans are in place to ensure that the agreed upon 60 million cubic feet a day will be available by year end. I'm also pleased to report that 20 million has been paid by VRA, and this leaves a payment balance of $30 million to make up the 50 million agreed upon in our meeting in July. Despite these developments, the financial position of the company remains very desperate.
The Minister for Petroleum, Mr. Emmanuel Amakofibua, said VRA's inability to pay for gas consumed is as a result of WAPCO's inability to transport the expected gas volumes to VRA's power plants for power generation.
The pipeline damage and repair between 2012 and 2013 compelled VRA to switch to extremely expensive alternative fuel. This situation obviously made it tougher for VRA to pay its debts and resulted in periodic threats of curtailment of gas supply from NGAS and WAPCO. Due to WAPCO's delay in agreeing to a workable tariff with the regulator WAPA and its ambivalence, we in Ghana have deepened our resolve to construct a dedicated pipeline from Takoradi in the west to Tema in the east.
In the long term, the gas-consuming countries hope to at least have Nigeria make available to the West African gas pipeline the contracted volumes of 133 million cubic feet and possibly additional volumes to enable the pipeline operate at full capacity. The rest of the meeting was closed to the media. Beatrice Sanaju, GBC24, Accra.
Former Finance Minister and Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Professor Kwesi Botry, has encouraged commercial banks in the country to keep pace with the changing needs of customers by thinking fast and being observant. Professor Botry says any effort to meet customers' needs will be successful if there is a clear policy by the central bank.
Standard Chartered Bank Ghana has been in operations in the country since the 1890s, when it was known as the Bank of British West Africa. The British-based multinational banking and financial service group is one of the leading banks in the country and has been listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. It has operated for over 118 years in Ghana and is currently the highest priced stock on the exchange market. As part of activities marking its 120th anniversary, StanChart has organized a lecture to sensitize the public to its achievements. The lecture brought together former ministers of finance and governor of the Bank of Ghana. There was also a panel discussion involving a former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Mr. Alex Ashiagbo, former Finance Minister Mr. Yaosafo Mafu, and the Chief Executive of Standard Chartered Bank, Ghana, Mr. Kojo Bedu Ado. The discussion was largely about the nature of the financial sector during their time and the current situation. A former Minister for Finance, Professor Kwesi Botwe, encouraged commercial banks to take the initiative to help government in times of challenges.
I know that we have the talent, largely, to reconfigure the banking system to meet the challenges of today in a global environment. There probably is some misalignment between the orientation of the banks and public policy. I believe that the solution must start from a clearer statement of public policy, a better indication of what the national plan is.
The Chief Executive of the bank, Mr. Kweku Bedu Ado, indicated that the bank has kept pace with changing trends in the banking sector.
After 120 years, are banks relevant to the lives and well-being of the general Ghanaian populace? I'm talking about jobs, food security, health, and well-being. Do we have a financial sector that is responsive to the real needs and aspirations of Ghanaians in the 21st century? Everywhere that I've asked this question, the answer is a resounding no.
Standard Chartered Bank is an authorized foreign exchange dealer of the central bank.
Take a look at the interbank rates. The Commodity Board is next. In insurance news, Algeria and Kenya topped the list of the fastest growing African non-life insurance markets. They topped with real premium annual growth rates of 8.9% and 8.2% reported for 2014 and last year. According to an Africa Insurance Barometer 2016 report, South Africa's premium represented 71% of the whole continent's $69 billion total in 2014 and 40% of its non-life total, with much higher penetration rates. After South Africa sit Morocco, Algeria, Nigeria, Kenya, Egypt and Angola as the largest non-life markets, each representing at least $1 billion premium. The report listed high government deficits, the global crunch in commodity and energy prices, African currency depreciations, China's economy, heightened African political risk and instability threats, and shortages of talent and disposal income as factors stunting Africa's insurance market growth potential. Excluding the South African market, African non-life premium was $13.8 billion in 2014, clearly dominating the African insurance sector, with the exception of South Africa and Namibia, where insurance penetration levels reached 14% and 7.3%. The contribution of insurance to GDP was significantly lower than the global average of 6.2% in all African countries.
The report said in more than half of all African countries, penetration was lower than 1%. The report cited low disposal income as the main obstacle to more rapid insurance market development. The report said that in 2014, the 10 largest markets, South Africa, Morocco, Egypt, Nigeria, Kenya, Algeria, Angola, Namibia, Tunisia, and Mauritius, generated a premium of $63.4 billion, or 92% of total African premiums. Among these top 10 markets, Kenya recorded the steepest nominal premium growth with 20%. The largest market, South Africa, grew at an inflation-adjusted rate of 1% over the same period.
And that was business.
Now, U.S. scientists claim human lifespans may be limited to a maximum of about 115 years. Their conclusions were made by analyzing decades of data on human longevity. According to the scientists, a rare few may live longer, but the odds were so poor. Some scientists have praised the study. Life expectancy has been increasing since the 19th century due to vaccines, safer childbirth, and tackling cancer and heart diseases. In sports, the first kendo demonstration has been held at the Accra Sports Stadium. Kendo is a Japanese martial art which has its origins in swordmanship and uses bamboo.
Since the introduction of Kendo in Ghana by the ambassador of Japan, Mr. Kaoru Yoshimura, last year, lots of Ghanaians have taken to the sport. At the opening of the 18th Japan Week celebrations in Accra, the first Kendo contest was held. Kendo is a new form of martial art. Kendo originated from what used to be the essential practice of samurai, the Japanese swordsmen, over several centuries. A sword made of bamboo or wood and a set of self-protective gears are used to practice Kendo. Kendo is more than a sport. It has principles that makes the individual well developed in the mind and body with the objective of making them very valuable and useful to their community and country. The ambassador of Japan, who is a Kendoka or a Kendo practitioner, took part in the official demonstration. The Japanese ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Kaoru Yoshimura, was happy at the acceptance of the sports in the country.
As a Kendoka, I'm very happy to see the first matches of Kendo. They are really improving and amazing. Just less than 1 year practice and they are getting such a high level.
Kendo is currently under the Judo and Karate associations in Ghana.
Now, 20 Ghanaian Premier League coaches are benefiting from a series of coaching seminars at the Alisa Hotel in Accra, dubbed the Betway Thought Leadership. Officials from English Premier League side West Ham are leading this seminar.
The coaching seminar is a collaboration between Betway Ghana and English Premiership club West Ham United. 20 Premier League coaches participated. Participants were taken through topics such as injury prevention, technical development, and football and the media. The organizers said the workshop is aimed at exposing the coaches to some modern football trends. One of the facilitators at the workshop, Ashley Cotzin, tells us more.
The key aspects of this particular workshop is an ability to empower coaches. We want coaches to be better leaders. We want the coaches to be more skilled at building teams and great players. And the reason why we chose Ghana is it's one of our key markets. Betway operates now in 3 markets in Africa, Ghana, Kenya and Uganda. And in each of those markets we're looking to make a meaningful contribution to the football communities that we serve.
Some beneficiaries shared their experience.
Our mentality on the game in terms of the technical aspect has been shaped, has been enhanced, and we will leave this seminar with a lot of blessings to Gaka and Betway for organizing such a wonderful seminar.
They are giving us insights and the reasons why people chalk successes, and we are seated at the other side and we don't know what actually goes into it.
This is to pure science football. I think the Western people are doing well. If we look at the physical aspects of the game and other things, I think it's the best.
The initiative by West Ham and Betway Ghana puts them in a unique position to contribute tremendously to the area of football in the country.
Well, coming up is entertainment.
Yosakoi is a unique dance that originated in Japan and is often performed at festivals and events. The dance form is highly energetic, combining traditional Japanese dance movements with modern music. This is how this group of performers fused local Ghanaian tunes with Yosakoi.
As part of activities marking the 2016 edition of the Japan Week celebrations, a Yosakoi Dance Festival will be held at the Police Fitness and Social Center in Accra. The Yosakoi Festival seeks to showcase the rich traditional culture of the Japanese and its similarity to Ghanaian culture. Yosakoi has now evolved from a traditional dance and music festival to one where there are infusions of world music and dance styles. At the residence of the Japanese ambassador to Ghana, a group gave a teaser of what should be expected on that day. There was also an Azonto dance.
Well, that's it for News Hour on GBC24.
News tonight is at 10:30. Please make it 8.
Thank you for watching.